think I have to tell the truth here. I like to think I made the interview okay, and but actually I found out that Billy Morris and Lewis called the placement job service at the University of Georgia, and they said, we're looking for a young conservative editorial writer right out of college. And the placement guy said, that's easy, we only have one. I got the job. I like to call it with merit. But I remember the interview that I had with Billy Morris, and this was the key question. And thank goodness I passed. But he asked me, would you write an editorial that you personally disagreed with? And we'd had a great chat, and we knew that we had agreed on so many issues and values that I thought, and it was a great answer, I said, yes, sir, I would do it, because you're the owner of the newspaper. And so thank you for hiring me. But just a few words. We, without fear or favor, if we saw corruption, or we crusaded for economic revitalization and businesses, that's what a newspaper is for. And you were always a stalwart, Billy, of open records and open meetings, and we made sure that they followed the law. So I applaud you for watchdog journalism and for the great, rich journalism tradition that you established.
In March of 1967, or spring of '67, Lewis Harris came to the University of Georgia, and he ended up recruiting me for what was in Southeastern newspapers. And 2 months ago, I had 51 years with the company. I'm now second only to Billy in longevity with the company. What a lot of people don't know is that Billy plays guitar. He's a big lover of bluegrass and country music, and he's been one of my biggest supporters with my Ramblin' Rhodes column.
Ms. Morris, we're going to back this off just a tad bit before we present the award to you, and I want to just say a few things. And you're a great man of middle, very humble, and I've had the opportunity to watch over the many years that I've been here, and the organization of Rotary has a motto, and the motto of Rotary is service above self, and you, without a doubt, are that individual that service is above yourself. And would you please come forward and receive the 2018 Lewis Harris Award.
I've truly been blessed with wonderful parents. My family came here in 1823. Jeremiah Morris came here with his stepfather in 1823. He was a 19-year-old boy. And so we've been here for 7 generations. And so truly, like many of you, I love this town. And I feel blessed to have been here. It's a great privilege we've been in the grocery business, the railroad business, the real estate business, the newspaper business twice, and probably a few more others as a family. So it's a great privilege to have a job where you can make a contribution. That contribution is not necessarily mine, but it's the contribution that a lot of people who have worked at the newspaper and who worked in other places in our community have made along with me. So it's been wonderful. You know, my philosophy is each of us live in a community. These are our communities. They belong to us, and we have the choice of making them great communities, making them better than we found them, and leaving them better, or just doing nothing and letting them deteriorate. And fortunately, I had a platform in which I could, as Phil has already said, I had a platform where I could make a difference. And we could stay on the politicians, we could make them account for what they do. A few of them went to jail, a few of them went out to Phil, I mean, we had a few problems along the way. But in every single case, we were right, we did the right thing. And with the help, you know, there are 5 of us in this room that have worked with Lewis Harris, Phil being one of them. Clyde Wells is another. And Clyde says Lewis and I argued about whether we should hire Clyde or not. But anyway, and of course there's 2 wonderful sons here. So this is a great tribute, really, to all of us. I got to thinking about really the bottom line of what Lewis meant. And it really comes down to freedom of the press and freedom of speech. As the brochure says, he started in Montgomery, Alabama as a 19-year-old boy with a paper route. He came over here as assistant circulation manager at 20. He served in World War II overseas. He was the press secretary to General Mark Clark right after the war. And then he came back to Augusta. He worked in several other places, which are in your brochure there. He was quite active in his community, much more so than I've got in my remarks on, which is on this paper. But he loved this community, even though it was not the place where he was born. He loved it, and he wanted it to be better. He was active in relationships at Fort Gordon. He was active with civic clubs. He was a wonderful speaker. He had a great sense of humor. But above all, underneath that, he loved this town, and he wanted to make it better. And he had a platform that made a big difference there. He had an opportunity to witness one of the first atomic bomb explosions when they were experimenting with the atomic bomb at Yucca Flats. He went out there on invitation. They invited some press people, and he went out there and he filmed an atomic bomb explosion with a home 16 millimeter family camera, and those films are still available today. He was the first one to receive this award, and which was given in his honor in May of 1978, and he died about 2 months later. I had the privilege of working beside him for 20 years, as did some others in this room. I'm 83 years old, so he and I worked together for a long time. He was knowledgeable, and he was committed to the founding principles of our government, particularly freedom of speech, which is freedom of the press. So while this award carries Lewis's name, in reality it's a tribute to what he stood for. And first and foremost, that was freedom of expression, freedom of the press. He passionately believed in that, and he practiced it on a daily basis in our newspaper. He was never bashful about writing a story or covering a story that the public needed to know about. He was great about that. Thank goodness that our nation has had many people like Lewis, newspaper editors all over the country, who recognize the importance of freedom of the press to our nation and who work and practice that every day. So thank you for what this honor means in Lewis's memory. He was truly knowledgeable. He was respected as a newspaper editor, and frankly as an outstanding citizen, a contributing citizen of this community. I thank you for what this award means to freedom of the press, and we're so blessed in this country to have freedom of expression, and Lewis was the epitome of it. And thank you for giving this award to me. Before I sit down, I want to conclude. I seem to remember being in the same room with Lewis when he got the first award. I brought him here because he had cancer at that point in his life, and I said I brought him up here, and I was here when you gave this award in his honor. And among other things that I said that day, I concluded with, he was a forceful idea man. He was a true community leader. He was a defendant of free enterprise, a good American, and above all, a Christian. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the Lewis C. Harris Award, and thank you for giving it to me today. Thank you.